My friends, what you're hearing now is not random bombing. It's a cyclical, mechanical, and terrifying sound.
200 rounds per minute in newt from a 25mm automatic cannon ripping through and piercing Soviet-made armor in Eastern Europe. And pay close attention. The Russian commanders thought they had surrounded easy prey in the industrial suburbs of Avdiivka. But they made the last mistake of their lives. They had just marched straight into the kill zone of one of the most lethal and feared machines ever tested in the entire American arsenal. This is the M2 Bradley infantry fighting vehicle. Amid the smoke over the field, the invading infantry believes that their overwhelming numbers, 10-1, guarantee them victory. But physics doesn't care about the math of men.
The scenario unfolding is no longer a trench war. It's the activation of what I call the digital meat grinder.
The old Soviet doctrine of sending masses of bodies to crush a position has collided brutally with Western precision engineering.
Designed especially to destroy human waves in a matter of seconds.
The Bradley is not just a transport vehicle, it's the pinnacle of mobile survivability. When the ambush happens and the Russian columns try to close the encirclement in the pale light of dawn, they don't find frightened peasants.
They find the silhouette of a metal predator that doesn't feel fear, doesn't blink, and doesn't make mistakes. And the battle for Avdiivka became the stage for the ultimate test.
The free world is not just fighting for territory. It's testing its own sense of justice. The mechanical crown jewel against Vladimir Putin's army. Now, subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and leave a like on the video because it takes a lot of work to make it. And follow me, good people. To understand the massacre happening on the Ukrainian front, you need to forget about politics for a minute and focus purely on the anatomy of the machine. How does a Leviathan of 28 tons of steel, laminated aluminum, and ballistic composites manage to float and maneuver on thick mud? Where the heavy Russian tanks get bogged down and become easy targets? The answer beats inside the beast's chassis. The M2 Bradley is powered by a formidable heart. The Cummins VTA 903T diesel engine, a turbocharged 8-cylinder block that delivers 600 horsepower. The roar tearing across the plain isn't just noise, it's the transfer of raw torque to the tracks, ensuring the exact power needed to pull the infantry out of a crossfire zone before enemy artillery can recalibrate their coordinates. But what makes the Bradley the true enforcer of this digital meat grinder isn't its engine, it's its eyes. The Russian T-72 armored tanks advance at dawn because their supply chain has collapsed, leaving thousands of soldiers completely blind without proper night vision goggles. They use the morning fog as cover. It's a useless tactic. Inside the Bradley, the gunner and the commander operate the FLIR, the forward-looking infrared radar. They don't look through the windows. They look at monitors that scan the horizon more than 3 kilometers away, reading the ambient temperature. Now come with me to the scene. Feel the chill of the cabin. Outside, absolute chaos, but on the Ukrainian gunner's screen, Russian camouflage doesn't exist.
The human body at 37 degrees Celsius shines like a bright, blinding beacon in the middle of the frozen landscape.
Bradley sees the enemy getting ready to attack minutes before the Russian sergeant even gives the order to advance. It anticipates the move. It pre-programs death, my friends. And when the sight locks onto the target, the machine speaks. Bradley's main weapon isn't designed to create cinematic explosions. It's designed for systematic annihilation. The 25mm M242 Bushmaster cannon uses a dual feed system. With the push of a button, the gunner instantly switches between high explosive ammunition to shred groups of infantry and APF SDST ammunition, solid tungsten fin-stabilized darts that cut through the air to pierce the sides of armored vehicles, Russian BTRs and BMPs. The rhythmic, dry cadence of the cannon tears apart advancing columns before the invading soldiers can even set foot on the ground.
But the war of attrition is reciprocal.
A Russian anti-armor team hidden in the rubble lines up a Soviet RPG-7 launcher. They lock the sights on the silhouette of the Bradley and fire. The rocket crosses the distance in seconds and hits directly on the side of the American hull, exactly where the driver is sitting.
In Moscow's doctrine, this impact would melt the chassis and cook the crew.
The Bradley isn't just wearing aluminum. It's covered by reactive armor plates, and we need to dissect this survival science. The RPG warhead doesn't pierce the metal by brute force. It uses a shaped charge. Concentrated explosives that turn a copper cone into a superheated plasma jet, capable of cutting through armor like a needle of fire. In the millisecond that the lethal jet touches the Brat block, the explosive inside the American plate detonates outward. The micro-explosion of the armor throws heavy steel fragments against the enemy plasma, deflecting, crushing, and dissipating the energy before it touches the vital hull of the vehicle. The physics of the reaction cancels out the chemistry of destruction. The RPG turns to dust. The American machine shudders from the impact, doesn't retreat an inch, rotates its automated turret, and wipes out the Russian shooter. And if you think more people like you need to understand what's really happening in this war, you can sponsor this video directly. Use the super thanks below or the information that appears on your screen. Don't forget, our job here is to decode the chessboard for our elite community. And as lethal as the Bradley is, it's built to hunt infantry and light vehicles. When the invading army, in complete tactical desperation, deploys its biggest beasts and sends a line of T-72 tanks with heavy reactive armor to break through the encirclement, the Bradley asks for cover.
It's the moment when the land of Avdiivka cracks under the weight of true Teutonic engineering of extermination.
The main battle tank, Leopard 2A6, enters the contact zone. Forget the primitive concept of tanks you see in movies. The German Leopard 2A6 is a mobile extermination platform. The main character here is the 120mm smoothbore Renthal L50 5-cannon German engineering focused on absolute kinetic energy. While the Russian cannon tries to compensate for accuracy flaws by firing missiles through the barrel, the L-55 cannon was lengthened to increase the internal chamber pressure. And when the Ukrainian gunner pulls the trigger, he's not firing an explosive. He fires a kinetic energy penetrator. A hyper-dense tungsten dart leaves the barrel, traveling at an insane 1,700 meters per second. It crosses the battlefield faster than the human brain can register the sound of the shot.
And when this dart hits the front armor of the Russian T-72, the monstrous transfer of energy instantly melts the enemy armor.
It goes through the cabin, goes down, and ignites the ammunition that Soviet tanks insist on storing directly below the crew's feet.
The turret of the T-72 is ejected 30 meters high,
spinning in a column of fire. It's the complete failure of the Soviet design philosophy, which prioritized low cost and mass production, in contrast to the Western philosophy, which designed their hulls and sealed compartments purely focused on survival. That's why Putin's war is a meat grinder. People don't matter as long as they become cannon fodder on the front line.
The Leopard maneuvering in the mud, firing on the move without losing an inch of accuracy, while enemy wreckage burns in the rear.
But we need to take a step back and elevate the analysis. Because this clash of iron is happening specifically in these ruins. And why did the West deploy its masterpieces here? Geopolitics did not bring the machines to war. Geopolitics changed precisely because these machines needed to be tested. The terrain of Avdiivka is not just a disputed piece of land.
It is the ultimate proving ground.
The Pentagon and NATO have turned the Ukrainian plain into the ultimate laboratory, where American and German precision design faces the overwhelming weight of industrialized quantity. Moscow's strategic intelligence didn't realize this until it was too late.
Vladimir Putin ordered mass attacks, trying to suffocate the Ukrainian line with volume, forcing the Russian army to sacrifice nearly 1,000 armored vehicles to secure even a tiny perimeter. And the global consequence of this is devastating for the Russian Federation.
Russia is not just losing old vehicles. By testing the Bradley and the Leopard on the front line, the West forced Putin to burn through his elite stock. The Russian military complex can't replace thermal sensors, heavy bearings, and fire-controlled electronics due to Western sanctions that have crushed their imports.
Got the code.
Every time the Bradley's cannon pierces a Russian vehicle in Avdiivka, Russia's ability to project power beyond its borders for the next decade is reduced to dust. Moscow tried to win by attrition, but it underestimated the gravity of it. Specifically, the fact that Western steel was designed precisely to crush static armies.
My friends, the height of this carnage lies not in the gears, but in the trench mud.
The human factor refuses to die.
At the forefront of isolated combat, Ukrainian soldier, the scout nicknamed Al-Qaeda, fights a personal war with grenades just 50 meters from the Russian line.
The tension is suffocating. He gets shot. The bullet pierces the gap between the ceramic plate and his arm. He falls bleeding into the mud with a tourniquet strapped to his thigh, waiting for death as Russian columns tighten the encirclement.
The crackling radio relays the wounded soldier's coordinates. The Russian generals look at the monitors and believe they have a NATO platoon cornered. A destroyed tank awaits Moscow's infantry. This is where the strategic mistake takes its toll in blood. The Russian encirclement was not a tactical or accidental mistake. It was a chronic and deadly underestimation of the machine's capability. They closed the encirclement around the position, moved in for the kill, and discovered in the screeching sound of the tracks crushing the ground that they were not cornering the prey. They were suddenly locked in the same cage with the predator. The Bradley tears through the flank. The Bushmaster cannon goes into full cyclic mode, neutralizing enemy grenadier positions with relentless sweeps of 25mm suppressive fire. The Leopard advances behind it and fires real smoke screens, creating an impenetrable fog for Russian eyes and missiles. And under the rain of steel and fire, the Bradley's rear door opens and the ramp becomes the lifeline.
The soldiers grab Al-Qaeda by the ballistic vest, drag him through the trench mud, and throw him into the belly of the aluminum beast.
Their rescue performed the miracle that the Soviet machine always claimed was impossible. Now is it time for action? Write and repeat in the comments the 2 keywords that serve as the surgical verdict of our elite analysis today.
Right, relentless steel. I repeat, relentless steel.
What? In the end, after weeks of industrial-scale pounding, Ukrainian forces retreated and Avdiivka fell into Russian hands.
The city turned into a gray cemetery, where Putin's machine raised its flag. But the mathematical toll of the battle revealed the Russian catastrophe. To take the rubble, Russia burned through dozens of battalions and lost the mobility of its entire fleets, paying the highest price. For every inch of territory, the American beast withdrew intact and lethal, proving the thesis that the Western machine dominates in a frontal clash. But the clock of global war does not stop. With the imminent arrival of F-16 fighter fleets in Ukrainian skies, carrying advanced radars and invisible precision air-to-surface missiles, the sky will begin to dictate the rules.
The Russian army paid its highest price, fighting only against the boss.
How will they hold their tattered supply lines and remaining garrisons when death comes from the sky at Mach 2?
The game of machines has only just begun,
and true annihilation is scheduled for the next battlefield. Naivety exacts a price that nations cannot afford. Ignorance takes away your own freedom.
Prepare your mind. Mental armor is strategic, my friends. You know.
We are living in a dark period where this channel can be taken down at any moment.
And with that in mind, we are outlining two strategies.
The first, you will subscribe to our backup channel here on YouTube. Yes, our backup channel called Blinde a sua mente. So if we get taken down here, we will continue our work there as usual. The secure link is in the description. And if you prefer, you can use the QR code by pointing your phone directly at the screen, which will take you to the subscribe button. But if our backup channel also gets taken down, we've created an intelligence bunker outside the system. Because if you think the old traditional media is going to show you the details of this machinery of extermination and the real strategic orders from the Kremlin, you're being manipulated. The system filters and censors the real geopolitical picture. That's exactly why we're activating our exclusive platform, running in a completely censorship-free environment. Forget the television narratives. From now on, you stop being a passive target and come down to our intelligence bunker.
Inside, you join more than 3,000 analysts who fund the truth here and pore over the map of what's really happening in the shadows of this war.
Take tactical control of your information. And once again, QR code on the screen, link in the description, and in the pinned comment. Did you get the code? Hey, we're on rented ground. If we fall here, we keep going there. Guys, I've got a fantastic series for you. I've been talking about it all week. It's Lioness.
I repeat, Lioness, and it's on Paramount Plus.
About the series and many other shows that talk about war.
Mainly, this series presents, in Hollywood's cinematic style, how this war between Russia and Ukraine is unfolding. The level of realism is impressive, and all of this is confirmed by my channel partner, Commander Batistella, who commanded ships in the Brazilian Navy.
No emails, friends. Realism being put into practice, and most importantly, the United States is blowing the lid off it and exposing the hybrid war that's happening in the world. Do you believe it? Leave your opinion in the comments. Do you believe that we are already living through World War I too? Well, it's there on our channel with tips on series and movies, reviews, series and movies. Click on the channel, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. The link is there in the description, in the pinned comment, and in the card that will appear on your screen. Just click and you'll go straight to our analysis. And every week, without any fuss or whining, a curated selection so you don't waste any more time looking for something cool to watch. Now subscribe to this channel, turn on the notification bell, and leave a like on the video because it takes work to make it. Blend your mind, yes? Blend your mind. Now subscribe to this channel, turn on the notification bell, and leave a like on the video because it takes work to make it. Yes, it takes work to make it. And you can also exclusively sponsor this episode. Brazilians need to understand what really happens in the war.
And through videos like this, it's possible to get close to reality. And through videos like this, people can understand this piece of the geopolitical chessboard.
You can use the super thanks that's down below or the information that's appearing on your screen right now. Blend your mind. Yes, blend your mind. I'm Shimon Oliveira. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, bye. Bye.